definitely have found out. Good? All right. If you have questions, ask questions. If I have questions, shout out answers. I hate talking to myself. Couple of safety things. Do you keep private conversations down? We have other boats on the river. Wind. Might have to say, watch your arms, watch your elbows. Want to make sure everyone hears that. If you find yourself in the river, stand up, walk out, 3 to 4 feet deep. We do have life vests should you need them. No smoking on river level. You can drink, you cannot smoke. Street level, you can smoke, you cannot drink. There you have it. All right, first thing up on my left is La Vista. It means little village, but it's really big on street level. That is the very first San Antonio neighborhood ever. Established in 1722 by Spanish soldiers, then French and German immigrants called it home in the 1800s. Now it's shops, restaurants, and galleries featuring local artists, and they are open between 10 and 6 p.m. In front of us is the Arneson River Theater. Seats 800 people. They still have live performances here regularly. This was built in 1941. Has anyone seen the movie Miss Congeniality? Yes, stage on my right is where they filmed the swimsuit competition and the perfect date scene. And it's kind of crazy, the stage looks so huge in that movie, yet there it is. This is it. Yes, and I Googled it because I was like, no, it can't be, but yes, it was. It was pretty cool. The perfect day, by the way, was April 25th. Not too hot, okay, we have drift over here. We may touch over here. We're definitely touching. Not too hot and not too cold. Well, you needed a raincoat if you were here in Texas. Over 1,000 movies and TV segments have actually been filmed in San Antonio, by the way. We are not on rails, by the way, and it is definitely a bit windy in here. I promise you I will keep you all very, very safe. Okay, this is honestly not a place I have ever had issues with wind. But you can feel it, yes? We all know that it is wind. Yes. Guys, watch your head. Okay, you're fine. You're fine. I just want to make sure. In front of us on my right, you'll see a beautiful bronze sculpture. That is a Mexican cowboy. Sits in front of the Bristol Western Art Museum. They opened their doors in 2013. 1968, Hertzberg Circus Museum. 1930, San Antonio Library. Everything was and is. They don't tear anything down, they'll build up onto and out from. The bridge in front of us is one of 10 in the United States, 5 of 10 here in San Antonio. It is all cast iron. You don't have to duck or tilt your heads, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll be absolutely fine. You'll be absolutely fine, I promise. I promise. You can pick your heads up. You will be fine. I promise. We bought that bridge in 1890 from Berlin, Connecticut. No one has ever hit their head. Ever. Not even in wind. The island on my right is called Marriage Island. The roots of that large cypress tree actually form a natural heart. Over 300 weddings take place every year on that island. They say it's very lucky to be married there. My cousin Bob 5 times now. Do we have any military or vets on board, by the way? We do. Can we give it up for our military and vets? Thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. Do we have any first responders? Teachers? Anyone have a birthday? That was a trick question. You all have birthdays. Anyone celebrating an anniversary? Yes? Nice. How many years? 14 years. Give it up. Thank you guys for being with us. Happy to have you all. Happy you have me. You don't know what you could have got. Building on my left, super cool. Anyone see the movie Ghostbusters? Yeah, it's not the building. It looks like it though. If you look all the way up to the top, you'll see gargoyles sticking out. There are actually 16 of them, 2 on each side of the octagon. They used to be water spouts and they're about 3.5 feet in length. Now I'm not supposed to stop, but I want to give you some info about the building on my left. If you notice just above the first floor arches, just below the windows, you all see the pairs of ugly faces on the wall. Every third window there's a pair of ugly faces. They're called grotesques. The Smith and Young brothers were very superstitious, so they put these items on the building to ward off bad business and evil spirits. It didn't work. They lost the building 3 months later, having to sell for $300,000 when it cost them $3 million. Now it's the Tower Life building. It's mostly insurance companies and lawyers.
It really is cursed. Lawyers.
When we come out from underneath St. Mary Street Bridge, if you look back at the bottom point of the building, it will look like the Titanic, by the way. And the building in front of us is the Bexar County Courthouse. They opened their doors in 1897, oldest and largest courthouse in Texas, still in operation. Notice the back of that right there, looks like the Titanic. If you look underneath the building coming up on my right, you'll see one of our 2 marinas where we get our boats from. That's also where they put us when it rains. That's a boatload of fun. That was the San Antonio Library, now the International Trade Building. Everything was a was and is an is. If you look next to the boat right now, you'll see 2 short walls with markings. This is actually a floodgate. It comes up from the bottom. Now also, it's a little hard to see for the people on the right of me, but I'm going to just back up a little bit. This is not on the tour. I just find it incredibly gross and cool at the same time. I wanted to share. Look at the bottom of the bridge. You'll see a pink mass. Do you guys see that? There's also another one right there. If the people on my left look over, you'll see a pink splotch. This is an invasive species of eggs, and those are its snails. Those are its eggs. It's an invasive species of snails, and those are its eggs. There we have it. In 1921, there was a huge flood. Millions of dollars in damages, 8 feet of water above street level. 1926, Robert Hugman, father of the Riverwalk, designed this as a city park, but with those floodgates. So when it rains, they come up or down, preventing us from flooding. We actually start 8 miles north of here, and we are spring-fed. Very briefly, we are in 10 feet of water. If you look behind me, it drops down another 20 feet. Now, also not up the tour, as we come out from under the bridge with that added, you'll see lots of locks. And it's called the locks of love. And when you love someone, you come here, lock the lock, kiss the key, throw it in the river. You will be together forever. Forever. One more time. Forever. Some people not sure about forever, they use combination lock. I say if you're not scared, I have a zip tie for you. Over to my right was the Alamo National Bank, now the Drury Plaza. Everything was a was and is an is. On my left, if you follow the staircase up, you'll see the San Fernando Cathedral. Oldest cathedral in Texas, built in 1733. And also up in that area is the largest Mexican market in the United States, called the Mercado. It is very expensive, very fun. The tree in front of us, oldest tree on the river, between 300 and 500 years old, 90 feet tall, 25 feet thick. Cypress trees usually live to about 1,000 years old. Before the cypress trees, there were cottonwood trees. Cottonwood in Spanish is alamos. We believe that the Alamo got its name from those trees. Before that, it was San Antonio, Misión de Valero. By the way, people on my left, if you look at these two stone pillars, you'll see what they saw on my left. And you will see on my right what they saw earlier, which is smushed eggs. This is another floodgate that we're coming up under. This one comes down in the event of rain. We've actually never flooded since 1921. Coming up on my right is my favorite building, the Esquire Tavern. First up, they say they were a barbershop in 1933, but they opened their doors moments after Prohibition was lifted to a fully stacked bar and already drunk people. Now what I love about the building, I told you they don't tear down, they build up onto and out front. Look at the bottom of the building. 1933 Tavern, then bam, 2021 hotel on top. This reminds me of a mullet. I love this building. Top of it was finished in May, 22 stories, takes up 0.14 carbon footprint. If you look at the chandeliers in the building on my left, that is how high the Riverwater rose back in 1921. And ironically, that is where people paid their water bill. It's now the Drury Inn. Also coming up on my right, where you see the yellow boat dock, is the Aztec Theater. Aztec Theater was built in 1926 for $1.75 million. It was a silent motion picture theater and then suffered economic losses. Re-emerged as a concert hall. And Wilson, Goo Goo Dolls, Limp Bizkit, and Snoop Dogg have all performed here. Same day they installed the 2-ton chandeliers, the same day the stock market crashed. This is also another one of our retail locations as well. We all do the same 2.5 mile journey, just different starting points. And of course, they don't get me. Do we have any Selena fans on board? Yes, this is the bridge, the most asked about, sought after, proposed upon bridge anywhere ever. It was in 1997, Jennifer Lopez sat on top of this bridge while filming the movie Selena. True fact, Chris proposed to Selena in real life on this bridge. It's also dedicated to Robert Hutton, father of the Riverwalk, but if you're a Selena fan, way less impressive. The yellow building on my right was the L. Frank Savory Company in 1901. They built harnesses and saddles for everyone. Pancho Villa, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, French, British, and American armies. That's a hotel. On my left, St. Mary's School for Boys in 1853. It grew, it prospered, became a university, and is now a hotel. Next building coming up on my left, super cool. It is the Knicks Hospital. The Knicks Hospital was built in 1930, and it was the first hospital ever in the nation to have air conditioning and an indoor parking garage. Who knows the name Oliver North? Who knows the name Carol Burnett? They were born here. So is my Uncle Steve, but less impressive. Bubblegum Shrimp was actually their morgue. Look all the way up at the top of that building. Is that not really cool? Alright, we have some more drift going on right here. Alright, onward. Now, this hospital has been empty for 2 years. Who knows what this is going to become? Hotel, yes. Now, who thinks a hospital on a river that becomes a hotel will be haunted? Just me? Do you know we're actually one of the most haunted cities in the United States? Do you know how many cities there are in the United States? 19,545. You're welcome. We are one of the most haunted, 7th fastest growing, the only ones that can be called military city. Hoorah, give it up for our military and vets. And we have the most cows in our state. There are states that have more cows per person. We have more cows. Did you know Phil Collins has the largest Alamo memorabilia collection there is outside of the museum? He just donated $15 million of it to the Alamo Foundation. Yep. And have you all noticed we don't have much of a skyline? Do you know why? The Alamo. There's a city ordinance that says there cannot be a shadow cast upon it. That is why the Hyatt Regency on my left is only 16 stories. It wanted to be 30. They couldn't be built for 2 years while they had to do shadow testing, dusk till dawn. That is the most sacred and haunted spot in Texas. The Alamo. The Alamo. Hyatt Regency is in front of the Domingo, is next to it. That's the most haunted hotel. Until the next hospital, of course. Building on my right was a social gathering spot for Germans that lived in the area and became residential housing. Who knows the name Alex Haley, the author of Roots? He was a resident there. Tommy Lee Jones also spent time there while filming the movie Thunderbird. And it's actually rent-controlled apartments. Studio apartment on the river, $700 a month. With a 20-year waiting list. This area we refer to as Restaurant Row. We have everything. Mexican, American, Mexican, Tex-Mex, Mexican, barbecue, Mexican, Irish, Mexican, Italian, Mexican, German, Mexican. We got it all.
You have any Mexican?
We do have the little Mexican, yeah. We are actually known as Spanish Texas, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. Our history has not been pretty. It's been pretty brutal, bloody, and ugly. Oh well, too bad. We're not changing. We embrace what we are. Our boats are even inspired by Patel Picado, which is a Mexican folk art. If you've seen the movie Coco, you definitely know what it is. For those that do not, you see it all the time for festivities. We are on our missions boat. We have a sun, dove, tricentennial, and military. Hoorah! Now this part of the river that we are in, by the way, all natural. What we will be entering into will be our man-made extension, built in 1966 for the 1968 hemisphere. Concrete bottom, still 3 to 4 feet deep. Casa Rio, over to my right, oldest restaurant on river level. Shiloh's on street level, oldest street level restaurant. As I make this turn, if you look all the way up on my left, you'll see a huge sculpture. That sculpture is called Torch of Friendship. That was a gift from Mexico in 2002. It is 65 feet tall and 45 tons. If you see any other sculptures, big or small, in that material, and you will, just go ahead and say, that's a Sebastian. That's a Sebastian. Another Sebastian. You will be correct. And on your way to becoming an art expert. You're welcome. So I get asked 3 questions all the time. First question, how many people fall in the river every year? It's about 300. I think yes, 250 are drunk, 40 are with them, and 10 are boat captains. Yes, I have not been in there yet. My shoe has been in there twice. Second question, are there fish in the water? Short answer, there are freshwater fish and cell phones. Mine is in there. And the third most commonly asked question, have I ever hit a duck? No. I tried, they don't. Over to my right, you'll see some flowers made out of bicycle parts. The artist's name is Letitia Werkstead. She calls them blooms. Next to it, you'll see a beautiful waterfall. The waterfalls throughout the park are not just for beauty, they aerate the river as well. The Marriott Hotel in front of us is the tallest building in San Antonio, by the way. St. Joseph's Catholic Church, and we will talk about that on the way out. Beautiful steeple. Over to my right is the tallest structure in San Antonio. Tower of America is the second tallest freestanding structure in the United States. First one being Las Vegas' Stratosphere. Seattle Needle, third. That is 750 feet tall, 952 stairs per top. One man climbed those stairs 5 minutes and 18 seconds. Yeah, set a world record. I couldn't ride a bicycle a mile. Took me 18 and a half minutes to get to the top in the elevator. I was happy with that. Sculpture in front of us is called Stargazer. You might look at it and say, well, maybe it's a Sebastian. No, it's not. What makes this not a Sebastian, first off, is the color. Sebastians are all brightly colored. This one is actually made out of volcanic ash from Mexico. Second, This is put together in layers. Sebastians are all one harmonious piece. The Marriott Hotel that I just showed you actually moved a 16-ton building 8 blocks away, setting a world's record for the largest building ever moved across city streets on air-filled tires just for this location, the Shops at River Center. It is 1 million square feet of shops, restaurants, and recreation. IMAX movie theater, Dave & Buster's, Legoland, Children's Aquarium, so much more. And this is another one of our retail locations as well. Did you know they strung up 500,000 lights at Christmas time? Takes them 2 months to put them up, 2 months to take them down, and 2 months to prepare for the next season. They dyed the river green for St. Patrick's Day, greener than it is today. They actually do something for every major holiday. Now this area is called the Mall Lagoon. May I just say that this area is the most challenging of all areas. The wind gets trapped between the 3-sided building. There's usually a waterfall on in front of the island in the center. Combine that with drift or wake and ideos mío. Now, not on the tour, you will see 6 flower pots in front of you. The one in the center has been hit by every single boat captain. I myself repeatedly. I had to tell people, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't know this was a thrill ride? Yeah. Then someone knocked it into the river, it's been replaced and hit again. Hallelujah, it wasn't me. You're actually all in very, very good hands. Takes the average boat captain 28 hours to become fully certified as a boat captain. I actually did it, 48. Anything worth getting is worth working for. Now when we come out of this area, if you were to look over to your left, you would see the convention center area. The convention center area is only open when there is no wind. Also up in that area, by the way, is Rich Chris Steakhouse. Happy hour, 4:30 to 6:30. $11 for a 2-inch thick burger with seasoned fries. 2-inch thick. They have ahi tuna, calamari, and shrimp, same price. I can feel it. Did you know that the San Antonio River was named before the city? 27 years later, the city became San Antonio. Fun fact. And St. Anthony's actual name is Fernando. Over to my right, St. Anthony, aka Fernando. I was doing research because I just wanted some interesting things that wasn't on the script. And I found out that his name was Fernando, and I told my boss. I learned 2 things in that very moment. 1, saints changed their names like popes. 2, popes changed their names. I did not know that. Yeah, they're not all Pope John Paul's. Building in front of us is the one we saw earlier with the gargoyles. That flagpole is 100 feet tall. The flag is 35 feet in length. And every time I see a flag, I am reminded how blessed we are. Please give it up for our military and vets. Thank you. Over to my right, you'll see a steeple. Those bells you heard earlier, St. Joseph's Catholic Church, built in 1868. And if you were yearning for a sermon in German, that was the place to be. More people actually spoke German in the 1800s than English or Spanish. King of Spain gifted land to the Germans. That's why we have New Braunfels, Fredericksburg, Burney, Green, just to name the ones I can pronounce. Did you know they actually drained the river back in January? Glad you're all here now. They drained it to clean it. The last time they drained it was 2 years prior. Between those 2 years, they found the invasive species of snails, scooters, lawn furniture, and cell phones. I find 9 out of 10 times plastic bags at the supermarket. Then, Mardi Gras beef and debris. Then, facial coverings. Throughout the year, I have found every item of clothing imaginable. Every item. Most recently, different times, a sheet, a shower curtain, a whip. Yep, you heard it right. Now, none of that will actually stop my boat, by the way. That will only stop my propeller. Whatever we hit after that, bridges, walls, sidewalks, that will stop my boat. So, give a hoot, don't pollute. Not just for the fishes, but the people. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. So very happy to have had you. If I can have your attention, super important. Please do stay seated while I tie down my boat. This area I picked you up in is called Historia because of the historic buildings at La Vita. Your boat captains refer to it as hysteria because the drift that happens so incredibly quickly, taking me from one part of the river to the other, is astounding. Look for your personal belongings. Don't want you to lose anything or leave anything. If you do, go to www.ebay.com for your items back. I am allowed to tell you tips are allowed, accepted, greatly appreciated. And I've been working on my Spanish. Propinas, por favor, por cervezas y ceviche. Gracias. Just give me one moment, guys. Thank you so much.